Hello, friends. Randy Sala here, Assistant Professor of Business, and going to give you a quick video on entrepreneurship. Many people would love to start their own business, and many students would love to start their own business. And I typically have about 30% of my former students, in one way or another, are starting and working their own business idea. So I want to give you a quick video. Entrepreneurship can sound very, very intimidating with the likes of Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, etc., etc., etc. How do we take our idea, design it, and then make it a viable business? Well, let's look at that. Why should we in the first place? Friends, we need to change the status quo, I believe. We are living in a rigged economy. I think you've got that from my first discussion boards from the first unit. 20 past years, literally 30 years since the 1990s, the top 5% of Americans have been controlling 65% of the total private wealth in this country. Total private wealth is about 50 to 60 trillion dollars, and they've been controlling somewhere around 40 plus trillion of that. So there's always a finite amount of money, and who gets what? So what can we do to change that status quo? Maybe you've got this idea that you can start doing and start just increasing your income. Not necessarily having to change your career or quit a job, but something you can start on the side. I like to say that. Global catastrophes, have they helped? My gosh, this is the fifth one in this century that we're in, COVID. And of course, we've seen so many different businesses having to shut down and so many people's income really hurting. Yes, changing the status quo can really help us, and doing something that we enjoy, well, that just makes it fantastic. So, what are a few things we need to look at? Well, design thinking is taking your idea and making it and establishing the proof of concept. A lot of people have ideas, absolutely, and I hear it all the time. I've heard it from on a weekly basis. I know this idea will make me $1,000,000. I just can't do anything with it. Okay, well, we got to be able to do something with it. So we need to create that successful business idea and then establish the proof of concept with it. Will it work? Will it start making us a little bit of money? Now, as we start looking at entrepreneurship, it is a big word. It's a French word. And of course, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And it is, as I said earlier, a little bit intimidating. But there's a couple different levels of entrepreneurship. And the first two levels are what we call the micropreneur. It's a new hot name. Or a lifestyle-based small business. And what we're doing here is we're establishing that proof of concept. Again, my idea, can it work? Can I make a business model out of it? And can it start generating income? Can start generating value to customers and start increasing or replacing an income. And that's about 90 to 95% of the entrepreneurs in the United States. They're literally looking to have a lifestyle, replace their income working for themselves or having a side business. And they're built around, again, our financial needs, our individuals, our families. A lot of these are service businesses. The owner is the manager, and they have very few employees. Micropreneurs are basically 10 employees or less. And hey, I've had my own business in my younger days, and I've had worked in entrepreneurship for 20 years and managed a small landscape nursery where I was a minority owner of. And 10 employees is to me a lot of responsibility. And so that's no small feat at all. But what can we do? And generally they are a sole proprietorship or an LLC. Now, there is the third level between the micropreneur, the lifestyle-based business, and there's the high-growth ventures. And this is what so many people think about. No, this is Elon Musk. Well, it is. This is Steve Jobs. This is Bezos. This is Gates. Well, remember, at least I can tell you Steve Jobs, Bezos, and Gates, they worked out of their families, their parents' garages for a multitude of years. I believe Apple had venture capitalists coming in the 1970s into Steve Jobs' father's garage. That's where they had their business set up for 3 to 4 years before they went big time. They were establishing the proof of concept, and once it's been established, once it works, now we're going to scale it. They've had several years of experience. They've tweaked it, And now they say, I think we can scale this to a mass market. Okay, so now they're run by teams rather than individual. We have venture capitalists that are really guiding us and funding us. And we have professional employees, directors. We're probably an LLC to a private corporation to a public corporation. So just, kind of getting a little bit of the levels of what we have to go to. But we need to do this. We have to think proof of concept. Will my idea work? All right. Now, still, that's not easy. How do we do that? It's not easy, but it's not that difficult either to test it at first. So here we are, design thinking. Now, this is a hot topic. You can find a lot of different ideas in design thinking, a lot of different flow charts. I created this one. And so here we are. We empathize, we generate the problem, we brainstorm, we work on a business model, and then we test and evaluate that design. The great thing of an entrepreneur is they understand other people's problems. And so you can see what we were doing in the empathy stage here. All right, everyone's got the problems. What are the pain points? We work this down. We work ourselves a problem statement. We brainstorm our ideas. Then we create the model. And then again, we are going to test, evaluate, change as necessary, retest, reiterate that design, and then we scale to that desired size. So problems, problems, problems. Everyone has problems. Friends, that's probably the one thing that, in my opinion, that unites the human race. We all have problems. What opportunities? The entrepreneur will always see a problem as an opportunity. They look for different problems. Can you capitalize on on a problem that you see to lessen or eliminate someone else's pain? If your idea can help somebody else's problems and eliminate them, we're on the way to a pretty good business idea. So just because I like to do something, that could be fantastic. Maybe I do have a hobby and I want to create that into a business. Great. Well, make sure that it solves somebody else's problems, not just your own or my own. So empathy is huge in the design thinking because we're looking for problems. Now, people have lots of different ones. So as we drill down, so to speak, as we flesh it out, how do your customers define costly? Because in today's market, usually cost is a big problem. That's too much, or I don't have enough of it. Does it take too much time? Okay, it costs too much money, requires substantial efforts on your part or your customer's part. They'd rather have somebody else do that. That's why service businesses are a very fast way to start a good business. What makes your customers feel bad? And again, these are just a few hits here, my friends. I have all of this in a binder in this folder for you for those who would like to work on their own business ideas. So what makes your customers feel bad? What are their frustrations, annoyances? What are things that give them a headache? The more we can ease somebody else's pain, we may be able to really create a good business idea, plan, and an actual business around that. Just remember, there's all sorts of costs out there as we empathize. What are negative social consequences do your customers encounter or fear? People want to look good. They don't want to be embarrassed. So, again, does your business meet those needs? Are they afraid of loss of face, power, trust, or status? I mean, why else would someone spend $300,000 on a Bentley automobile? Well, that's a lot of that's power, that's status, that they do not want to lose face. They want to be in control. Now, we can certainly take that downward to anything else that we're doing. What if it's something in the home? They want their home to look great, and you have a service business that can help them do that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The clothes we buy. I mean, these are the inner workings of psychology of why we purchase the products that we do or the services. So empathy is huge for the entrepreneur. All right, we've done that. We have got ourselves an idea. Now we need to create a problem statement or a challenge statement, however we want to look at that. What is the problem? This is very important in the entrepreneurial world. And as we build a model or a business plan, what is the problem that I'm trying to address with my idea, my business idea, my design? Who exactly are the people I'm trying to help? And what are those people like? Those are the questions we need to answer to generate a good problem statement. Okay? And again, we don't want to make this complicated. I believe Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the most eloquent design. Give your statement a single sentence. What is your business idea? Who will experience your design? Where will your design be used? What is your design's value to the customer? Businesses come and go. The number one reason 65% of small businesses, we're going to go small here, we could say all businesses, don't make it to year 6. Most people think funding, and funding is important, but that's not the number one reason. The number one reason is we are no longer creating value for our customer. The market changed, the industry changed, my customers changed, and I'm no longer delivering value. That is so important, my friends. So what is the design's value? Very important. Those 4 hits should be in that problem statement. Once you've got that good problem statement, now we can start doing the fun stuff. That is ideation, all right? Brainstorming. Observe, my friends, and interview your potential customers. We cannot be all things to all people, all right? I mean, Amazon's doing a pretty good job of that, you could say, but Walmart might be doing a really good job of that. Walmart knows exactly who their customer is. So does Target, even the mass merchandisers. Other people come in, that's fine, but we need to know who is that customer. So observe and interview your potential customers in the environment where your product or service might be used. Okay? Imagine yourself as the potential customer. What are the frustrations that customer is going through? You should be able to brainstorm multiple ideas for that design of the business idea. As we're brainstorming, we're going to end up choosing the best idea that you think solves your customer's problem. Okay, whether that's a product or a service or a mixture of both. You're going to write down that idea. This may be 1 to maybe 3 sentences written so anyone should be easily able to understand it. Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank, if the Shark Tank fans out there, on a business that was basically a upscale cupcake business that sold cupcakes in pretty mason jars and shipped them. And on Shark Tank, they said, "Hey, what is it that you do?" And the team said, I think it was a husband and wife team, said it's real simple. We make amazing cupcakes. We put them and seal them in a mason jar, and we ship them to anyone that you want them to be shipped to. O'Leary said, "I'm going to buy that." There's nothing in that business, my friends, that you could do to basically patent. There was no intellectual property. It was simply, they knew what they were doing, and they could tell the sharks that. How many times on the Shark Tank have you seen when they're asking, what is it that you do? And many times they have no idea. They made it so complicated. We complicate and complicate. Remember, simplicity is the most eloquent design. So you should be able to understand that. And then we have the business model. Okay, once we've got the ideas going, we've got that problem statement, we've been empathizing. I have this for you in this folder. This is a canvas. Let's get creative with our idea, and now we're going to create the model. This is basically the business plan. Now, a full-scale business plan gets into all sorts of pro forma income statements and different financing. We don't need to worry about that right now because we're testing. So we create the business model for the idea. We use the business model canvas that I have just like this, and we just start writing. What is the narrative? What are your projects, your product services? This is what we have gone over in Unit 1. This is the business environment right up in here. The economy, political environment, technology, society, globalization, the marketing experience, which we're learning about, the customer pain points. And then right in here is how we're the value, the target market, promotional strategy, everything else that we're going to do. And I'm going to show you quickly. You'll draw it, so to speak. You'll sketch it out, and I say sketch it with your ideas, and then we'll uh, write it out in an actual plan. So here's the business model again. And what I've done is I've put one for myself here. Now, I used to be in the landscape and lawn service for many, many years. Again, I managed a pretty good sized landscape nursery during the middle to late 90s. And I'm thinking, as I look forward to, well, I can't retire, so that's going to be years from now, but maybe I could do a micro business. Maybe I could do a business that's can basically generate an extra income, and then again, maybe in the retirement years, keep that up. So I don't want to work as hard as I used to, but I'm going to formulate an idea right in here. And so here's what we look at. We're looking at how to draw things out on this. Now I've made this to where you can print it out. It can print up to 3 feet, and you can go down to Kinko's, to Walgreens, print this out, get it laminated. I would suggest. And that way you can mark up with little sticky notes and put all of your business ideas or any ideas you have at work that you need to. It really helps the brainstorming and gets the writing process going a lot faster when we're doing something certainly like a business model. So my idea is going to be for an upscale lawn service, something I've never seen before. I don't want a lot of work to do. I want to keep it generating income, but be something interesting. And so I write my narrative. My friends, always control your narrative. That is your story. That's the one thing you get to control in life. Somehow you've got to do that. And so I'm a master gardener who will make your landscape look like a masterpiece. All right, that's my story. My business idea, all right, is my value proposition right in here. Here's my mission and my statement. So as I'm looking at this, my vision is to have a small select set of customers who want their yard to be consistently groomed. All right, and this business is to supplement my current income or a retirement income at some point in life. All right, so my business idea right in here, the value I'm going to give, and of course you can always just do a little bit like this, increase, this is a PDF, will provide discerning homeowners a unique level of service with lawn service up to 3 times a week. Now most lawn services mow on Thursday, or Friday, once a week, but it looks good for that 1 or 2 days, and then by Sunday it's growing out pretty good, and Monday it looks like it needs cutting all over again. I'm thinking that there's a select set of customers, I don't need them to be a lot, that would want their home always looking great. Okay, there's the social consequence, there's the problem. I want my yard to look great all times, not just a couple days a week. So I'm going to hit their yards on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Wow, that's cutting. That's basically having a manicured, groomed look. So the home will always look well groomed. Also tying into the eco-friendly movement. So I'm going to use cordless equipment. It won't have the big, which I've had before, those giant commercial lawnmowers that just make all sorts of noise, throw up all sorts of smoke. And this will, it's almost like having a vacuum cleaner over your yard that gives you the manicured look with very low noise. So that is my idea. As I start looking at that, I start going back to the climate that we've learned in the first unit. I look at the economy. Well, DFW has been one of the strongest economies in the United States. I think the United States, from what we've gone through, we know we're in a rough time with the pandemic. And so we may be in a recessionary time, macroeconomics for quite some time, but micro, more so in this area. DFW, basically, if you took us as a state, just our economy, Dallas, Fort Worth, throw in Collin County as well, we would be number 9. The 9th largest economy in the United States, which makes us one of the top economies in the entire world. That's how big we are. So we're in a really good area, okay? The political, regulatory environment, well, this was a service business. And I look back, had the pandemic took out so many different businesses, unfortunately. But this business, like a lawn service or any type of cleaning services, again, we're we're not getting super fancy here. We're thinking, I'm thinking a basic idea. It is an essential business. Lawn and landscape services and cleaning services still did well, especially outside cleaning. Did very, very well. And so that's good to know. All right. We've got opportunities, threats. Okay. There's that SWOT analysis that you're looking at right now in some of my notes. Well, the threat is this. I'm going for a very niche, a very small market. There's not a lot of people who are going to want to pay Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm coming up with some sort of an idea here. Uh, and so I may have to test this. It's going to take some time to capture. I don't think I'm going to go out and be able to find 5 to 6, 7 customers willing to pay my price on day one. This may take uh, a year to find my right niche of customers, maybe even more than that. But I have a job right now, so that's okay. That's why we're looking at this route. Again, opportunities right in here. 7th largest economy. I said it was the 9th. That's pretty even better. Great ecosystem, great entrepreneurial area. Society. We look at societal changes. Over aging population. Again, what is costly? Does somebody really want to get out there in their yard? I may be looking for an older 65 and up market that has good discretionary income, obviously, but needs somebody else to take care of their landscape. But even more so, they really want it groomed. And we look at globalization. Well, can my business be globalized? Well, I don't think I can take it anywhere. But I do know, I mean, hey, service businesses are very easy for anyone immigrating into the United States to hit. And we know certainly outside service businesses are. I don't think a lot of people thought about that. Remember, it's very easy entry to this market. So anyone in the world that want to come to the United States can say, you know what, I want to start up, a landscape operation. Not that difficult to do. Technology, I can say this is a disruptive technology, which we have talked about in our notes that I provided for you. Cordless equipment is now allowing homeowners easier way to do it themselves, a DIY market, do it yourself, because of lithium batteries. Lithium batteries, last so long. I use cordless equipment, and it's professional eco grade, but a lot of people who did not like to mow their yard before because of the gas they would have to bring in through their cars, they got to put it in the back seat or the trunk of a gas can to have it in their garage, and the smell and the lawnmower takes up so much room. These cordless ones can be stacked vertically. There's no gas. They're very lightweight, so anyone can really use it, and it's a nice way. It's not as loud and noisy, so more people are taking back their yards. So that is a technology I would certainly look at. And then again, we go to customer pain points. There you go, right in there. I'm looking for somebody who wants it done more than once a week. That's their pain. They want that yard to be manicured just as good as it looks on Monday during the week as it does on the weekends. So there's my target market. This is what you got to really do here. My primary set. You have a primary. Many times you'll have a secondary market as well. Certainly, if it's going to be more than the niche business that I'm doing. Small set of homeowners desire to have that well-groomed look throughout the week. I need their discretionary. I need this type of income at least over $150,000 a year. Okay, this is not going to be for the everyday person. So I could certainly look at $200,000. Maybe they want that smaller home again. I don't want to go out to a bigger area. Let's just pick on South Lake because there are some ginormous homes out there. Yeah, I could maybe find some market out there, but I'm going to do it myself. I don't want to have to pay employees anymore. I want to just see how this works out. And so I want the typical 5,000 square foot yard, not home, but yard, and that I can get done with, under about an hour and a half, and get everything, all the grooming done. Here's some of my promotional strategies that we'll look at. And as we look at promotion, we always look at paid, own, earn, share. This is what I pay for. This is what I own. This is what we earn. This is public relations, the volunteering I could do, maybe the Fort Worth Japanese Gardens. Maybe I could get a really interesting set. When you start volunteering, my friends, especially for different areas, you'll find some very interesting people on boards of directors. And if you're a really avid volunteer and work hard, you can do this as a college student. You have friends, you're developing a network of people that can help you, which is what we always want. And of course, your shared is, what other people are saying about us, and we're monitoring customer referrals. I would love for everyone in here this class to take my marketing class, Marketing 1311. Principles Marketing. We go over promotional strategies and much more on marketing. So maybe in the next semester, the marketing experience from the customer's point of view. What do they got to really put themselves in yourselves in their shoes and figure out what they're thinking. I never have to worry about the look of my yard. It has a year-round manicured look. That is the experience I want them to have. And of course, industry changes, cost pricing. This is a premium price strategy. I'm not looking to gain a lot of customers. I may be able to get 5 to 7 customers to set me up, because now I'm mowing it 3 days a week, so it's like 20 customers. So I don't want to have to find 20 customers. I want to find the right 5 to 7 to set me up, because this is my monthly rate. It's going to be $500 a month. Okay, they'll be on a subscription based. So all of a sudden, I've got 12 months right here. I've got 5 to 7 customers. I may be able to build in an extra $30,000 to $35,000 a year of income, at least gross sales, and then we'll cut off our expenses, but still have a nice secondary income. And I could always see if I wanted to scale that at some point. There's the experience provided by the customers. There's my competitive advantage in a world of mow, blow, and go lawn services that you've seen, that they're in and out so fast. You're like, wow, where'd that truck go? They were just here a second ago. This is a perpetual manicured look. It's going to look really good, and it's going to include weeding. It's going to include trimming and shrubs, and again, it's not just going to be the lawn. It's going to make that whole yard look amazing. 5 customers at $500 a month, $30,000 right there. I may have some color change out, an extra $35,000 in annual revenue. You always want to try to project your sales. You're making your best guess here. And again, this is much sales and revenue, of course, are not net income, but you're just trying to project what it's going to look like. We have competition. We have collaborators who can help us. All right, those are people who could help me. Again, where would I get my equipment? Where would you get your equipment? Who are people that can help you? Those are your collaborators. And of course, the competition in your industry. Is it fierce? Is there a lot? Well, in this industry, there is. It's a ton of competition. The good thing is there's a ton of homes, man. There's a ton of work out there. And I am going for something very, very small. So as you look at that, there we go. This is how you sketch out your business model. And now you're able to really put this better to paper, and we do write it up, just as you would write out your any project in this class, and you can substitute your idea for the Unit 2 project, okay, and come up with what you're doing by following these steps right in here, and I'm going to show you now what that's going to look like. So here we are. We've done so much great work. You've done all this brainstorming, got the good idea, you got that problem statement in your mind, what you're trying to solve for whose customers, or writing out the business model. And so this is what I have for you here, a PDF file. And again, just basically, what does the business model do? It's the step-by-step plan, really plan of action of how we are creating that value. So here we go, step 1. If you're writing this out, pardon me, it's just what we go. Step 1, situation analysis. And that is, we're analyzing our business environment. So the first thing we're looking at is the business identity. And these are the things you would write. The narrative of your business. What's it going to do? It must describe the product or service, or both, that you're going to provide. It should be very easy to understand. And if we can, let's start giving our new business a name, or at least the brand, because well, they're synonymous there. There's so much right there. So what is it going to do? Very easy. Then we're going to look at who our customers would be. Who do you think will be that target customer for product or service? Right in here, we don't say everybody, because it's not going to work. We're really trying to get what many great marketers say. What's the smallest viable market? The smallest viable market of people that I need to get my business to succeed. Again, we're establishing the proof of concept. We're not taking this to a mass market right now. So things to think about. What's their age? What generation might they be in? Are they baby boomers? Are they traditionalists? Are they Xers? Are they millennials? Are they Zsters? Yeah, again, when you look at this, look at income range. Everybody loves millennials and Zsters, as my daughter is a Zster. But again, income range may be different. Baby boomers are nearing retirement, but they still have quite a bit of money. Traditionalists have quite a bit of money. In my little idea, I'm probably going for older baby boomers to those traditionalists who are still in their own homes, but probably the baby boomers who are now retiring. Again, this is just a few things you can look at, just trying to paint that picture of who that customer is going to be. Any collaborators out there? These are people who can help us. So list suppliers. Home Depot could be a supplier for many service businesses. Maybe I'm going to use Alibaba. All right, one of the biggest businesses in the world with the great Jack Ma, billionaire entrepreneur, co-founder. If I'm going to use Alibaba, I really want to know how that works well, because the shipping and the lag times are very long, especially if I'm a small business. Okay, if I'm not buying $100,000 orders, I'm buying $1,000 orders. It may take 3 to 6 months. So I want to know all about my collaborators who can help us. Okay, don't forget local entities, chambers of commerce, economic development departments of local cities. They are there to help the business person. And so you can grab a hold. They can give you at least research, demographic, and they give you some good insight. So those are collaborators. Competition, who's in that same space that you're operating in right now? List them. And the more you know about them, the more you can put down in here. Is it very vicious? I'm going to start a brand new cell phone or corporation. I'm going to make my own cell phones. Okay, well, let's see. That's great. Great idea. I had a student who was going to do that with holograms. It sounded super cool. I think Samsung, I think Apple, I think Motorola, I think Google. Those are small companies. I think they might have something to say who gets into that place. And then all the subcontractors who make all those parts, that's a hugely competitive field. So let's see who we are. This will tell us a lot of how we might need to reiterate that plan. Again, the climate, those things that we just have outlined up above in the business model, we want to look at that. Technology. And then, of course, as you're reading through the forms of business, what kind of business you think you're going to choose. Sole proprietorship, that is the easiest. I mean, you're in business tomorrow. You really don't have to do anything. If it's a partnership, LLC, corporation, as you move up the chain, you probably need a little bit of legal help to set you up here. Defend those choices. That's what I always like to say. List advantages and disadvantages of them. Okay. For most of us right now, we're in the testing stage. It could be a sole proprietorship. We're just trying to see if my idea, anybody even likes it. Then we're going to go back and we're going to scale accordingly. Excuse me right there. Customer value, step 3. This is it. The number one reason businesses fails is somehow we stop providing value. And a lot of things are happening. The marketplace is very dynamic. It's changing. COVID-19, and we're in the year 2021 now, and we're going on, has changed so much. Again, what are our priorities? What do we really need? Our spending, how that product is delivered, and how we're going to get it, or that service. So look at how the value is changing right now. What do your customers feel when they use that product or service? It's very important, the channel of distribution. Okay. Online sales, all right. Well, you can do that. You can certainly harness the beasts out there with Amazon, eBay, Etsy, et cetera, and drop ship to your customer. Or are you going to do retail brick and mortar location? God bless you if you're going to do that. If you're going to think you need to do that, again, test, my friends, before you go out. I can tell you so many stories of people that I have consulted with, or just given little bits of advice, or just talked with, who have lost everything because the retail location, they never even got to it. They had to spend so much money trying to configure what their store or their distribution site was going to look like that they ran out of money, and they never even got to sell a single product. So if that's your deal, be extremely, extremely creative. Hey, I want to build a restaurant. Well, let's look at food trucks, because they're very, very successful, and you can always sell that truck if you don't like it. You can get your money back, or start with a cart or a trailer. What's the smallest thing you can do? Dave Ramsey, the financial peace guru. basically built his business on a card table, a used computer, and an old printer that a friend gave him because he was dead broke. And he started writing out his tips of financial planning uh, on that. And that's how he started. And he says, I still use the oldest equipment, the stuff that works, but I don't buy everything brand new. I don't need to. So trying to look at, my friends, right in here, very, very, very easy ways, creative ways to start this out. Maybe you're going to provide a service like I am. I'm going to go right to the customer's home, their site. Again, subleasing space, using like an Uber Eats service, some sort of a delivery service where you don't even have to worry about having a retail site. You can produce the product or food or whatever somewhere else. Be specific, be creative. Very interesting. List yourself some critical success factors. I think 3 factors that are critical to your business idea, and you can just Google that up. Hey, what would a coffee shop need? And they'll tell you right there, you've got to have these 5 elements to be successful. So again, what we're doing here is research. We're not doing this as, oh my God, a homework problem. You're doing the research for your idea, because this is part of the testing right here. Is this going to work? Competitive advantage, Jack Welch, the former CEO of GE, basically said this: if you don't have a competitive advantage, then don't compete. Or you better find one. Okay, so there we are. Explain how your business is an advantage over your competition. Well, with my little idea, I don't see anybody doing. Again, maybe they haven't explored it. It may not be worth their while, but someone like myself who has the background of a master gardener, and my other experiences of doing it, and I love to work outside, I think I can make this work. Choose 3 competitors and create a competitive landscape table, and that's basically to say, what are my services, what are their services? And we're trying to find out what's missing. I'm providing something that they are not providing. If you can, that's great on your competitive analysis. So, customer relationships. Why do we want to develop long-term relationships? What strategy? And friends, it's this simple. If I have to get a new person to sell to every time I'm selling my product, if it's brand new, it's a bad business model. Why? Because my cost of acquisition, you find that on Shark Tank, customer acquisition costs. If I had to, customers are expensive. The time that you have to seek them out and to find them and to have a relationship with them, and if they're gone after a sale, unless you're just selling a commodity, something so easy and cheap, and I don't know what that'd be right now, but those are few and far between. Repeat customers are the key. I want to get mine on a yearly contract. I want to find that perfect 7 and provide them with great service for as long as I possibly can. I mean, 3, 5, 10 years. You know, they may have some attrition because they may die off or they may move, but I cannot afford to always find a new customer. It just doesn't work. So what kind of relationships are you going to do to build that amazing experience for them? Yes, if you can determine your expenses, again, this is doing the best you can, all right? Again, the cost of materials, shipping, taxes, labor, create your product or service. Again, usually the service businesses can cash flow so fast, so quickly, within a month or 2, because they don't have to have all the different sources of equipment that they use, and usually you can use your home or your apartment, as your business. And so, what are the basic things we need to get into business right in now? And then again, we want to look at pricing. All right. How are we going to price our product real quickly? You need a gross profit margin if you're selling a product of at least 50%. Walmart operates on a 37% gross margin profit pricing. And they can do it because of the volume. Very few people can do that. You cannot, and make a big living at it. You need to go from 50 and above, maybe 60 to 70%. So here's how you quickly formulate that. Expenses to create that product or service are $17. You're going for a gross margin pricing, which is basically your cost divided by 1 minus your desired gross margin. I want a 60% gross margin, 60% right here. $17 divided by 1 minus 0.6. Basically, it's 17 divided by 0.4. That's $42.50 is my selling price and the cost of my product. That's how you stay in business. And how do you the difference in here is the amazing service that you produce for that customer. So consulting services, all right, a lot of you could do that. Use the hourly rate model, all right. I say discussed in class. And so again, that is basically a process to where you put your desired income that you want, and I will get you those notes because they're in the binder, and you basically work it backwards. So if you want a $70,000 income, you divide it by how many hours, so that's $35 a an hour, and then you price it accordingly to that, and you add some of your expenses in there. So again, you cannot sell it for you can't sell it for free. Promotional strategy, all right. This is the paid, own, earn, shared. This is a great way to look at it, and I've got everything right in here. And again, you can Google this stuff up and find it. But again, what are you going to pay for? What are you going to own? What are you going to earn? What are you going to share? Great stuff right in here. Revenues, all right. See how much your business can generate. Again, you're just doing an example. You saw how I did my example. I'm going to get 5 customers for to start off with. They're going to do $500 per month. So the great thing is my July work is going to be more than my December work, but they're still paying me $500 a month. That's what I want. And now I can generally easily get what I need. So that's a $30,000 plus an extra $5,000 worth of color change out. $35,000. Again, we're looking at gross revenues right in here. And so anything else that you could do for additional revenues, it's always a great idea. What can you add on? It's just add-on services. And then again, if you can put up your startup costs right in here, for a micro business right in here, what do you need? What's the smallest amount you need? And then you conclude that. How do you feel about that idea? What is it going to look like in 5 years? And again, my friends, what's stopping you right now from doing that? Those are deliverables. This is how you would write your business model, and you can do that for Project 2. And love to see your own idea if that's something that you want to do. But you would still use this, my friends, for any business idea you got. And even though this could be for a micro business, again, if we're going for the large market, we're just putting in different numbers in here. This stuff still has to be done. So it's a great way as you're now looking at your business model, and now you've got your design on paper. And again, it could be as simple as you want to make it, but it should be at least maybe 1,000 words in here to 2,000 and above. I've had people write 4,000 to 5,000. They just got so intricate and detailed that the more you put into it, to just better research, I think you do. But there you go. Now let's look at an example of what I've got here for you. This was a former student of mine, and she's doing a dog walking business and a dog sitting business. And then, so again, here's her identity, and you can see how easily it's written right in here. It was Brittany's Doghouse, and so she's going to do this again as a side business because she loves dogs, and people love their pets, especially their dogs. Okay, and dogs, cats are pretty independent, but dogs need to be walked and fed and groomed differently. And so she's offering all of these different services. There's her customer right in here. And there's her collaborators. There's some of her competition. But again, she's using the family contacts, okay? If you're starting a business idea, and maybe your contacts you have in your family, you could potentially find some customers. She's found a lot through there. Quick little environment right in here, regulatory. She just knows, if you need any type of special certifications for your business, you would put them right into regulatory. Again, this is for you, so you know what? I need a food handler's permit. I need a SANSERV certification as well. I need to have all these different things, from the city and from the public health department. This one really don't have to have anything. Okay, and so they do have some certified professional dog training. Okay, this or some other ideas that she had. Her form of business, quick sole proprietorship, her value. And so it gives you a nice look right in there of how you would write out your business plan on really the business model, the pricing strategy. It just helps it, and this gives you an idea that, I think I could work this. Her sales forecast, she's doing a subscription service as well, $250 a month times 12 months. All right. She hopes to get seven customers, an extra $21,000 a year, some extra charges. And so that would be for $800. So an extra $22,000 plus she's, has her full-time job. that's a great income, man. What would you do with that money? You could invest that. Uh, Her idea would be have a pet hotel in about 5 to 10 years and take this full time. Extra little things she needs, very little startup costs, very little. So there's her conclusion. So different things that could be used to get that going. I hope this helps. Easy way to write it out, and then when we write it, we start testing the business model. All right, we've come through the business model on any scale that you wanted to do, and now we want to test and evaluate this. So, on as small a scale as possible, I like to use, test your business model with that target market. See if your design can create enough value needed for your customers to purchase. All right, so whether that be online, whether that is the service that you are providing or the product that you're selling online, let's start testing it. Hey, put that up, maybe on your social media. Ask whatever your followers are to start purchasing that product, or go out and start pounding the pavement and try to find those customers and evaluate your results. Again, take as much time as you need to on this. Change the model as necessary, okay? And then you reiterate the design. You might think, it didn't work. My original idea, I wanted people to do it 3 times a week. Maybe that was just too much. Maybe too much on my part. I may have been overestimating. What about twice a week, though? I still want to do that. I really don't want to get into the once a week and just start competing against everybody else out there. But I can do it Mondays and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and Fridays. Okay, and so I could set up maybe 4 customers on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then 4 customers on Mondays and Thursdays. All right, and maybe pull back my price a little bit. That may be it. Find out what works the best, my friends, because more than likely our great idea is going to need to be tweaked. And so reiteration is we redo the design, but maybe it's more of a tweak. We evaluate, and then we keep it running. Now, once the proof of concept is done, and again, this may take a while. I mean, it may be a year or 2 until you really see the proof of concept working itself out. Traditionally, in a traditional retail environment, if we were starting a restaurant, a coffee shop, or some sort of a store, it may take 3 years to churn a profit. That's just the basic business. If we're doing it from our home, again, we can recoup our costs so much easier, and we're just shipping. It should go faster. And if we're doing a service business, it should not, depending on the business, obviously, but if we are doing a service business from our home, from our apartment, or renting out maybe just some warehouse space at that we need to, just some storage space, we should be positive cash flowing within 3 months. If not, then something is wrong. Unless you've just had to purchase some very, very expensive equipment. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to get as quickly, easily as we can. What if you could change the status quo? What if you could add $500 a month to your income that you have right now? What if you added $1,000 a month, $3,000 a month? That would certainly, my friends, change the status quo. And that's what it's all about. I wish you great success. Here's the thinking again. Utilize the files that I have in this folder. You can write your own ideas and take it with you for the rest of your life. Empathize, generate the statement, ideate, model the business model, and test and evaluate. I wish you all great success with all of your business ideas.